guys, welcome back to Baked by Finn. I hope you enjoyed my last videos and all the ones before that. Today I'm going to be making this vanilla cheesecake with a blueberry jelly on top. Also, I'll be decorating it with the Italian meringue kisses I showed you how to make last video. Well, I hope you enjoy. Right, so before we get started, I'm just going to say, instead of reading out all the ingredients, I'm going to leave a ingredient list and measurements and all things like that in the description box below. So let's get started. So obviously for a cheesecake like this, we're going to be making a buttery biscuit base. So I've got some digestive biscuits here. I'm just going to put those onto my food processor. And I'm just going to blitz them until it's like fine breadcrumbs. So this looks quite good now. It's sort of like loose breadcrumbs, and I've got 100 grams of butter here. I've just melted it in the microwave, and I'm going to add it to my biscuit crumbs and then blitz it back up. So I've got all of my biscuit crumbs in here. They're all mixed in. It's sort of like a wet sand texture. And I've got a 7-inch springform pan here. I have just put a piece of parchment paper around the base of the springform pan and then clamped it around the side with the side piece. And I've just put a band of acetate around the side, just so when we release our cheesecake, none of it's going to rip off or have any sort of jaggedy lines in it. It's also going to make for a bit of an easier release when we add the jelly as well. So you might not need all of this, by the way, but yeah, just add it in. So I've added my, breadcrumbs, my biscuit base into the tin, and I've just got this little cup here. I'm just going to use the cup to sort of press it down nice and tight. Press it down nice and tight, because if you don't, when you cut into it, it's just going to go all over the place, and you don't really want that. I think I am almost done with that. Just need to give it a bit of another smooth. So yeah, once you finish smoothing your biscuit base, all you have to do is place it in the fridge for 10-15 minutes or so, just while we're going to get on with the cheesecake mixture. Right, so moving on to the cheesecake filling now. Before we start any of the cream cheese, whipped cream, we're going to start off with these gelatin leaves. Just because sometimes no-bake cheesecakes are quite sloppy, or at room temperature they just go extremely soft and start to melt on you. I don't want that, so I'm going to add 2 gelatin leaves. However, you need to soak these in water first, just for about 5 minutes. This is called blooming the gelatin. I'm just going to add the sheets in some cold water, one at a time, and just leave them for 5 minutes. Right, so I've got some lemon juice here, and I've just heated it up in the microwave, so it's about 30 to 35 degrees here. So I've got my gelatin. This has been soaking for about 5 minutes in cold water. As you can see, it's very stretchy and it's like jelly. And I'm just going to squeeze excess water out of it, and then I'm just going to plop it in this warm lemon juice, and then that should melt into lemon juice. So I've added my sheets of gelatin into the lemon juice, and I'm just going to whisk it in just until it's all melted and dissolved. So I've just left my gelatin mixture to one side. So in this bowl I've got my cream cheese, and I'm just going to slowly add my icing sugar to this and just whisk it in. Just add a little bit at a time, because it will go everywhere. Once you've added all of your icing sugar, it'll look a bit yellower in colour, and it'll be a lot shinier and runnier as well. So this is the bit where you add your vanilla, and you can fold in some double cream as well. So I'll just add the vanilla now. So I've got my whipped cream here in a bowl. I already whipped this to soft peaks just before we started filming. So I'm just going to slowly, well not slowly, but fold all of it into the cream cheese mixture and then just try and incorporate it all nice and evenly. Right, so I've finished folding all of my batter together. There's no sort of streaks of whipped cream or the cream cheese mixture. So I'm going to bring my lemon and gelatine mixture back. Just going to pour that over the cheesecake mixture and then just fold it in just like we did with the whipped cream. So I've just finished folding in all of my lemon juice and the batter's sort of turned shinier, a lot softer, and I've got my biscuit base back here. That's just been chilling out for a while, so that's nice and solid. And I'm just gonna drop all of my mixture in there, and then once that's all in, I'll use my palette knife just to level the top off. Once you've done this as well, you will need to either refrigerate it for at least 2 hours overnight or preferably for about a day. I'll be chilling mine for about a day as well, just in the fridge normally. So yeah. So all of my cheesecake batter, well not batter but mixture, is in the tin now. I've just got an offset spatula and I'll just be spreading this out, trying to get it as even as I can and just try and make sure that there are no sort of bits that are higher or lower than others. So I've levelled the top of my cheesecake off, and as I mentioned before, you need to refrigerate this for at least 2 hours. If you can, at least a day or half a day, just in the fridge. So yeah, I'm just going to take this to the fridge now. Right, so it's the next day. My cheesecake's been in the fridge for quite a while now, so I'm just going to get on with the jelly for the top. So I'm going to start by putting my sugar into the pan. All of the measurements and ingredients are in the description box below. I've got all my blueberries here and a little bit of lemon juice I've just put in with them just to, you know, sort of mix it up a little bit. And then going to just get a spatula and just mash it up a little bit just to get the juice and dissolve it a little bit with the sugar. Just putting the pan on a medium heat now. Just going to leave it just for a little bit until all of the blueberries start to break down and all the sugar's dissolved. So while my blueberries are on the hob, I just have some gelatin leaves here. This is what's going to make the jelly on the top set. Just also got some cold water here. It's been sitting in the fridge for a while. I'm just going to put each gelatin leaf in one at a time. Just leave it for about 5 minutes just to bloom, and you saw what happens with the cheesecake, it'll just go like jelly. So my blueberries and sugar have been in the pan for about 5 minutes, so the gelatin is up, the time's up now. All the sugar is dissolved, the blueberries have broken down a bit, but there's still some skin and, I don't know, I guess carcasses of blueberries left in the pan. So I'm just going to take this off the heat now. It's still really runny and liquidy because we added some lemon juice before. So what we're going to do now is just sort of use this food blender stick to just mash up the blueberries and just blend it all up. So I'm just going to start to blend up the blueberries now just until it's nice and smooth. So this is all smooth now, and I'm just going to pour it into the sieve and just make sure none of the seeds or skins or anything is still in there. So I've got my remaining blueberry mixture into this bowl. It's all sieved. It's still a bit warm, but it's not as hot as it was before. And I've just got the gelatin leaves that have been soaking. Like we did with the cheesecake, I'm just going to squeeze out all of the excess water and then just drop it in one at a time and just give it a little bit of a stir. So I've got my chilled cheesecake back here. The acetate's still on it, the tin's still on it, all that. and I've just transferred my jelly mixture into a little Pyrex jug, and this is cool, by the way, it's not like really hot or anything, and I'm just going to pour this over there. So jelly's on the cheesecake now, just give it a bit of a wobble just to get it all flat on the top, and you might get a few air bubbles here and there, just sort of smack it to get rid of it. And then just pop this back in the fridge for an hour to 2 hours. Right, so my cheesecake's out of the fridge now, the jelly is really set on top. Because of the way that we greased the pan before, it'll be really easy to get it off the tin, even the base as well, get it straight on your cake stand. Right, so I'm just removing the acetate now. It's going to pull a bit of the cheesecake off with it, that will happen, but we've got our palette knife here, we can smooth that back out and it'll look really good. Just turning the stand and all the acetate off, and then that's done. The cheesecake is on the cake stand, no tins, no parchment paper on it, no nothing. All we need to do now is just sort of spruce it up a little bit. All I'm going to do now is, I've got some meringues from the previous video which you can check out right after this one. So I'm just going to take the meringues, just going to place one just onto the jelly, just sort of do it in the middle, facing away from you, and then just get another meringue and just sort of line it up with it but on the opposite side, and then turn it 90 degrees, place one and then do the same, and we're just going to keep doing that until we fill in some gaps. So this is optional, but I'm just going to get a piece of white chocolate and a lemon zester or grater, and I'm just going to go over the top just to make the dark purple bits sort of pop a little bit. Well guys, this is it, my finished vanilla cheesecake with blueberry jelly on top. I hope you've enjoyed this video and you've watched all my other videos before this. Also, if you do make this, tag me on Instagram @BabeByFinn. Also, if you did enjoy this, leave a like and subscribe. Alright, see you next time. Bye.